Hey, I'm Tobias. Welcome. I'm going to be talking about my favorite books about men. Now, this is a topic that I've dived into and researched quite extensively, just as I feel like every man should. Now, I really want to explore who I am as a man and how I want to show up in the world. And I think that these books have really helped me and just have been a great resource and have so much wisdom to offer. Without further ado, let's dive in. The first book we have is a great psychology book by James Hollis. This is Under Saturn's Shadow, The Wounding and Healing of Men. Now, the metaphor here, Saturn's shadow, comes from a myth. Saturn was like a Roman architect that had a lot of dark and twisted stories, but he really created a shadow that cast darkness over his children, which for us is really all the ideas and expectations that are placed under us from our parents and teachers and society that really, make us feel obligated to live out a certain way of life that is not really true, and that a lot of times just creates a lot of wounds and a lot of problems for us. Now, such a deep dive in the inner psyche, so much powerful wisdom in such a short book. The couple topics that I really appreciated is the father-son relationship and how important that is. And then one of my favorite quotes is that men are violent because their souls have been violated. Talking about the father-son relationship, I'm going to couple this with another book, a fiction book. Okay, next book we have East of Eden by John Steinbeck. Oh, just a phenomenal story, amazing writing and dialogue. This is a retelling of the Cain and Abel story. Here we have multiple generations of families, each of which have two brothers. This is really about what it means to experience a father's love and what happens when a father favors one son versus the other, and the tension that it creates between brothers and how they eventually come of age and live their lives. It is so well told and so powerful. I always, appreciate a good story in a fiction book more than, say, a psychology book. This is, a phenomenal book. Highly recommend East of Eden. All right, next book we have The Way of Men by Jack Donovan. Jack Donovan, the biggest points that I want to highlight here is his concept of tribe and how important it is for men to find a healthy, supportive tribe where they feel like they can basically grow and develop together. It's important for boys and men to come together and compete and compare so that we can challenge each other. As young children, it's very easy to find yourself in the wrong crowd and to go into a very dysfunctional tribe like a gang. So Jack Donovan highlights all, the light and dark sides of the tribe. There's a lot of other great topics in here too, but I would highly recommend Jack Donovan. Next book, we have Raising Cain, Protecting the Emotional Lives of Boys. This is two therapists, Kinlan and Thompson. They just have so many great anecdotes and examples in here of young boys and adolescents and all their challenges in school and outside of school. And he does an amazing job highlighting how boys are so much different developmentally than girls, and why that's important. And for boys, that we just usually at that age, we have such a hard time creating an emotional vocabulary where we can express all of our crazy feelings and, live in a healthy manner. Yeah, so many great lessons in here. This is also an amazing resource for parents. With this, one of the authors wrote another book that I'm going to talk about, Homesick and Happy. Homesick and Happy is all about camp. Camp, usually for kids, is their first experience or initiation, their first separation from their parents. For me, camp was a very pinnacle experience where I got to, go away, be in a totally different environment, experience, sickness, and really miss my mom and dad. But also eventually a time where I got older and I got to be a counselor in training and a counselor where I got to share my knowledge with the other campers. Yeah, camp is an amazing experience, and he talks about all the lessons that a boy goes through. Check these ones out. Okay, the next book we have is Wild at Heart by John Eldredge. This is just a great look at a man's soul and his desire to go on an adventure, experience challenges, understand, just what it means to really, go within and experience individuality. There's also great knowledge about our relationship with God and or a higher power that you believe in and why that's important. I will go back to this again and again. It's got so much amazing knowledge in here. I really appreciated Wild at Heart. Check it out. Okay, I got two more that are very similar. They're both books about solitude and meditation and really connecting with yourself. We have Walden, Henry David Thoreau. Just some of the best writing that's ever been done. I would recommend this to everybody, where Henry basically went out into the wilderness, completely separated himself from society, and just had time to self-reflect, think a little more deeply about what it means to be a man, how he wants to live, what society means to him. Yeah, there's so much great information in here. This one is very much like the masculine version, and then a very similar book is like the feminine version, which is Pilgrim at Tinker Creek. Annie Dillard. Again, she did the same thing where she basically took time alone. She went out to Tinker Creek, Virginia, and just spent time in nature with all the animals and sentient beings and just experienced what it means to be alone. This is very much the feeling book, and this is very much the thinking book about solitude and quietude. Check these ones out. All right, we have the next one. This is The King, Warrior, Magician, Lover, which is all about archetypes and Jungian psychology. An archetype is really a persona or a role that we play out in our heads that creates a certain amount of patterns and behaviors. Here, from a masculine standpoint, these are the four that we really resonate with. We feel like we have a king within us that really sets the order and organization. And then we have a warrior who basically fights for what we believe in. And then we have a magician where we need to seek knowledge to basically give advice to the king to make sure that he's, has great knowledge and can, consult with a magician. And then you have the lover where, it's all about passion and romance, but also creativity and being reflective. The last part I would say about this one is that he does a great job of highlighting the light and the dark side of all four of these archetypes. I'm going to couple this with another fiction book that really highlights those archetypes so well. The book is The Winter King by Bernard Cornwell. This one is basically an Arthurian legend, a retelling of the Arthur story. A lot of people are familiar with King Arthur. This one is just full of perfect representations where each character shows a different archetype. You have King Arthur is the king. The main character, Dervahl, is the warrior or the knight. You have Merlin is the magician who offers advice. And then the last one is Guinevere, who's the lover. Now, you also have Arthur himself basically playing out all these roles himself. So at times, King Arthur basically is the king. At times he plays out the warrior and the knight where he has to fight for what he believes. And then at times he, offers advice and is a mentor to other characters. And then last, he falls in love and he experiences romance and he gets lost in the whole experience of passion. Some of the best writing, such a fun, amazing story. There's 3 books in this series. I've read the first 2 and definitely reading the last one. One of my favorite fiction books, again, almost a little more in the line of fantasy. Highly recommend. Last book we have, Iron John. Iron John is, for me, probably the best and probably the top book on men. If you're gonna read one of them, I would highly recommend this one. This is a fable that really highlights the coming of age from a boy to young adult to adulthood. At each stage of a boy's or a man's development, he kind of breaks down the psychology and tropes and metaphors in such a perfect way that highlights, exactly what it means to be a man, but also like it hits home, and you just feel every part. The fable, just to give you a little understanding of what it is it's a kingdom with a king and a queen and a little boy. And in this kingdom, there's travelers that go out and they find this wild man. And they bring the wild man back, and the king basically locks up, the king locks up the wild man because he doesn't know what to do with the wild man. And then one day the boy is playing with his ball, and the ball rolls into the cage of the wild man, and the wild man says, "I'll give you the ball back if you let me out of this cage." Now, the boy eventually finds a way to let him out, and he does. And that sets off the fable that really just highlights exactly what a man goes through. For me, I feel like, unless you're at in your 30s or above, you're not really going to appreciate the fullness of the information in this book. I will definitely go back again and again to Iron John because it is, it's such a powerful, amazing book. Yeah, this is the last one. Okay, that's it. Comment down below. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. If you guys want to reach out to me, or if you need any help, let me know. All the links are down below. And till next time, peace.